Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you doing? What is today? Wednesday? It's Wednesday, right? Not Tuesday. It's not Friday. I know that. So yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be Wednesday. Halfway through the work week. Makes more sense now. Hope you guys are doing well on this Wednesday. Do we have a spammer already? Thank you, Shonda. Man, yeah, that was fast. Takes like 2 seconds these days, and boom, they're in there. Don't ever click on their links, guys. Trust me, or you'll start getting weird things in the mail for help on the hunt for ET or something. So yeah, don't click on any of those. Hope you guys are doing well. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. You guys pretty much know that. This is an update, of course, to the blog setup where we get into our next storm system, which is going to be the Friday the 13th storm. An update there on how that is looking, and of course how things will look into next week as well. It's a busy weather pattern, a lot of unusual pieces all coming together. All right, so let's dive right into it. We'll start with a live shot, I believe. Well, it's a different one than I have here. Let me show you this one here instead. Hold on one second. This is actually going to be at Harvest Homecoming. I'll set up into New Albany. Nice chilly morning there. I know they had the pumpkin chunking last night. I was looking to see if we can find it on camera. I don't see it there, but that was last night. The rides were open last night. The rides open again today, I believe, at about 5 p.m. And of course, tomorrow all the booths will be set up to get you through the upcoming weekend. But always a good time there in New Albany for Harvest Homecoming. All right, you can see a little bit of high-level clouds. Yeah, they're kind of dominating right now onto the skies over wave country. We want to see more of that as we head through the rest of the afternoon. It's a warm front that is heading our way. The cloud cover, just as the sun is coming up, you can see it. Two different layers, really. There's an upper deck and a lower deck that are kind of spread out across either side here of wave country, both working together as a team to allow for a mostly cloudy scenario for us today. And any rainfall looks unlikely because there's just not a lot of moisture to work with. And you can easily see where the warm front is. It's a little hook of moisture that is right there across portions of Missouri into Illinois, little arcing of moisture, and that is rapidly heading nearly due east. So unless you are traveling north, I just don't see you really having to worry too much about rain today. Anything south of that line I just drew is not going to be able to develop, so we're fine. Mostly a dry day. Once the front does pass by, temperatures will indeed start to warm up, and we will get into the 70s for this afternoon and even warmer than that down the road. Now, most of the moisture so far has been kept across areas of the deep south. Some of that around the edge of the warm front. That's where the Storm Prediction Center has a very low end severe risk, a marginal in that area of the upper Midwest. Tomorrow, a little closer to the actual spin of the low pressure that begins to roll out of Nebraska and Kansas, kicking up a slight risk of severe weather there. And by the time the low gets closer to us, it is a marginal risk for the Missouri Valley all the way to Chicago. And that's where the outlooks stop. And the reason for that is that if it were to keep going east, its next little slide over to the right would put it into our area in the middle of the night, Friday night. And that is typically a night where severe weather doesn't always occur. You got less fuel to work with, and that is exactly what this scenario will indeed face. So because of timing of the system, it's playing out into our favor to keep the severe threat out of the picture. In fact, the latest from the 6 analog, I'll show you guys a lot on severe weather potential, and from the learning module, both have removed the severe potential out of our area. That's a good thing, right? So not worried on the severe part. There will be a band of rain and some thunder. You can get thunder out of this for sure. But overall, it's just a wall of rain, maybe some wind with some of this as it moves in. But most of this is going to be after, I would say after 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday night to about, say, 4 or 5 a.m. Saturday morning. If I had to give it a window right now, the most likelihood to see that little ripple of water come our way, it would be during that time period. So not exactly enough to ruin your plans for the day on Friday, and certainly not enough to really cause a lot of problem anyway on Saturday. But there's a second part of the system I'll explain about here in just a second. Let me show you just a short range version of this. Here's this afternoon. You can see the warm front that is passing on by. Again, 2 different cloud decks today. We've got a stream of moisture moving in from a tropical wave hitting Florida. So we're getting a lot of blow off from that. And then we've got clouds just kind of hooking over the area from the warm front that is passing through. So there's 2 different zones kind of drifting over wave country. All right. So 2 different areas of cloud decks to watch. And then that moves on by. And then we're quiet for later on tonight and looking good on Thursday. Much warmer, by the way, tomorrow morning than we've had all week. Have a lot of 30s and 40s. This time around, 50s and 60s will be a little more prevalent. As we get into the time period. Sorry, I thought I was going to have to sneeze. I was trying to hold it in. I was like, do I hold it in or do I just run off camera? Because you guys really don't want to see that. And I ended up just fighting through it. So now my eyes are watered up. So hold on one second. You guys have had those moments, right? Or you just have to make that split decision. Anyway, I made a wise one, I think. All right, here we go on Friday afternoon. Temperatures into the 80s. Very nice and pleasant indeed outside. Looking good. I would do all your outdoor stuff on Thursday. Friday, you still can. You can get outside and enjoy Friday. The problem with Friday is you will have an increase in clouds throughout the day on Friday, and then the line of showers and storms begins to roll through. It's interesting that this particular model, what it wants to do is split instead of one wall of rain and wind that come through. It's kind of splitting it up over a couple rounds, which is messing up the timing a bit. If you get more than one pushing through here. This one right now is an outliner. I haven't seen them all trending that way, but it wouldn't surprise me that we end up with probably a look that will look like, let me even draw it, hold on. That will look more like this. It'll look like a line, a box of rain, not so much a skinny line of rain. I think it'll be a box of rain, and it will have very limited coverage. Once you go on to the southern side of this, I just don't see much happening. So I think right now, if you are along and north of 64, you may have this period of rain and thunder Friday night. If you're south of 64, your chances of seeing that are much lower. And maybe too far south. But either way, it'll pass by Friday night, early Saturday. So then what happens? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Because after this passes on by, we get a kind of unusual setup, because normally low pressures like this in the Midwest, they will keep going into the Great Lakes or into New England and not really bother us. You get some cool weather, and then we return to a warmer scenario. That's not going to happen in this scenario. This particular low, as it moves on by, there's a rain chance there Friday night. The back end of this, we're going to end up with a very much a dumbbell effect across the northern Atlantic, where these low pressures collide and they bounce off each other and spin around. Because of that, we get another backlash of moisture and wind on the backside of the system that will move in later Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday, maybe even Tuesday next week. This comes straight down the backside of the main system after it passes by. If this were January, this would be about a 1 to 4 inch snow, Great Lakes snow, lake effect snow that would be right here in the Ohio Valley. But it's not January, but it will be a chilly rain for sure and breezy much of the time, as long as that backlash is kind of slamming right into Kentucky. This is just such a slow blocked pattern. I just don't see this moving out of the way quickly. So this is going to be a period where, again, later on Saturday, and then as we head into Sunday, and then as we head into Monday, that will be the likely weather. Areas of light rain, drizzle, and windy outside as well. And temperatures maybe in the mid-50s. It does eventually move. All right, we do try to kick it off the weather map. As we do, another wave will begin to approach. Our next system will move in as we head toward the end of next week. And this one's likely to bring with it a wall of showers, but it may do the same thing. It may very well get stuck somewhere into New England. A common theme, I think we may see this winter, by the way, this low pressure will get stuck and it'll allow for another cool flow of air right over us that should go through about, I would say, the 21st, 22nd, all the way through about the 27th of October. And then we would warm back up again. So if that pattern of up and down stays on track, these gaps stay on track, we should be in a warming period for Halloween. We should be warming up toward Halloween, but getting colder not long after, like the 1st or 2nd of November, we should drop again. If this pattern is sequential enough to monitor, and I think it is right now, that's the game plan that it likely will take. All right, so there you go. Nothing too dramatic, right? The storm for this week could be a lot worse than what it looked like last week, that's for sure. But because we didn't have the tropical low getting involved and merging with the system, we didn't really have a dramatic storm system this week, so that's good. So we'll only have the one system to worry about. All right, did that make sense? Type 1 if it made sense. Type 1 if it made sense. Autumn, I wish it was Friday. So do I. So do I. Autumn's over in Victoria, Texas. Rainy and chilly a lot. Yeah, I've been seeing some of the feeds out of Texas. Everyone's enjoying the nice little change for once. Brian, your audio was messed up, Kentucky girl. Okay, let me know. Sometimes this, again, it's a digital feed going out to so many different platforms. Sometimes it gets a little hung up. So always let me know. I appreciate that. All right, everyone looks good. How warm will it be likely on Halloween? That's a good question, Ben. If I had to throw out numbers right now, when I say warm, as in getting the system next week out of our hair, the warming trend would probably be limited to like the 60s to maybe low 70s. That's the early snapshot. That early snapshot there. Again, it would likely get cooler again right after it. So we'll fine-tune that here very soon with the forecast. All right, guys, there you go. Everything good looks good. Everything is fine. So let's just regroup again tomorrow. Let's see how the trends look on this and see if that backlash is a little more dramatic or lasts longer than expected or improves. That'd be nice to see it improve. And I'll try to get more information on the next one after this, the one that hits right before Halloween. I'll have that for you guys coming up tomorrow as well. Let me run down the recap real fast of how we stand. This is what it looks like for the extended as we see it now. 80s for a couple of days. Saturday's kind of a transition day there in between the low and the backlash, so we'll spend it in the 60s. Then the backlash kicks in with showers and drizzle for about 3 or 4 days. And then after that, we try to bounce back out before the next system moves in next weekend. So as far as rainfall goes, it's going to be light. It is going to be light. All right, guys, you all take care. I will see you guys coming up on midday at 11 a.m. and, of course, on the noon show as well. Take care, and I will see you guys coming up on the flip side. Oh, wait a minute. Let's back this up. How could I have forgotten this? How could I have forgotten this? I feel embarrassed. Don't forget that on Halloween night, it is, of course, the winter forecast. On the Wave Weather app, make sure to download it now. It'll hit there first, more than anywhere. All right. Was it worth it? I think it was. I tried to make sure to get it in.